This is my fourth year of covering the NFL draft here on YouTube, and I want to do things a little bit differently. The previous 2 years, I tried to do one video for every single team, handing out grades for every single pick with in-depth analysis, and it hasn't gone the way I wanted it to. The year before last, it took way too long to get done, and last year, because of circumstances that were out of my control, I didn't even get to get done. So instead of doing all that, instead of talking about potentially negative things with the NFL draft, I decided this year I want to go full positivity and just talk about my favorite pick from each NFL team. Now, we're not going to be talking about first rounders in this video because that's way too easy. I could just talk about every first round pick for pretty much every team. There's a couple teams where that would be an exception. But I instead want to talk about the day 2, day 3 guys, really get into the weeds of some of the non-household names that got picked this year, and talk about guys that I'm a really big fan of, guys that I want to see succeed in the league, guys that I think can succeed in the league. And so I figured this was the best way to do that. We're going to go division by division for all 32 teams, 8 videos over the course of the next week or so, talking about, my favorite pick for each team. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this and talk about my favorite pick from every single team in the AFC East. We're going to start off the AFC East here with the Miami Dolphins, and for me, this one was easy. I had to go with Kyle Lewis, the linebacker out of Pitt. I am so excited about his fit in this Jeff Hafley defense, and not only that, I thought the value was great. Lewis was my LB4. I had a mid-second round grade on him. You get him here at the tail end of the 4th round. That's really good value, but taking a look at Lewis as a player, I understand that he's 6 foot tall, 220-pound linebacker is not everybody's cup of tea. That is likely why he fell as far as he did, but a lot of other teams are missing out, right? Because this is a very athletic linebacker who, can keep up with anybody. Like, his sideline to sideline ability is fantastic due to being very fast, having good agility and acceleration and all those good things. And on top of that, his ability to change directions and flip his hips not only is better than any other linebacker in this draft class, but I would argue rivals just about any DB in this class. Maybe there's a couple exceptions for like the top end guys, but I'll be damned if he is not getting out there and flipping his hips and mirroring guys super effectively in coverage. He's a high IQ coverage defender with great instincts, a very good understanding of route concepts as well. He is going to be a very good cover player. He can hang with halfbacks, tight ends, and even some receivers due to that athletic profile and the fact that he has very good footwork. His route feel, his spatial awareness, and zone IQ all stand out as very high end. He's very good, especially at guarding flats and curl flats. He is just such a tremendous versatile cover player that it really makes you wonder if linebacker is going to be his position at the NFL, because obviously being 6 foot, 220 pounds, he's not the strongest guy in the world. He is not somebody that's going to consistently take on blockers and stack and shed. And so my brain immediately goes to, well, what about nickel, right? Why can't Kyle Lewis be a nickel defender in the NFL? We take a look at some of these teams like Baltimore or the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, who have these big nickel types that sure aren't built like your prototypical DB, but do a lot of things for you, wear a lot of hats, and are these versatile chess pieces that are going to get you a lot in coverage, but can play downhill because they're not being asked to do a lot of the traditional linebacker things when coming downhill against the run. Kyle Lewis, he's going to be a lot better off if the blocks he's taking on are from wide receivers and tight ends than if they're from offensive linemen. If you're asking him to come downhill against the run off the tight end's right shoulder, that's a lot easier for him to manage as opposed to trying to shoot the A-gap, right? I think that is something that could absolutely be in his repertoire, especially because his run diagnostics are good. He can see the field. He is a willing run defender. It's just, again, the stacking and shedding and things of that nature are very difficult for him because of his size. He's also a good tackler, consistently brings force, sets his feet, wraps up. He can really come downhill sometimes from specific spots and make plays against the run. So you take a look at this Miami defense, you've got your linebackers shored away with Jordan Brooks and Jacob Rodriguez, in my opinion. And then you've got some solid depth there with Tyrell Dodson. Willie Gay is a guy that, can make plays here and there if you need him to step in. Ronnie Harrison is a quality backup. You've got your guys at linebacker, so why not try Lewis at nickel? Put him up against Jason Marshall Jr., or even as a dime backer, as a 4th DB on the field. Either way, playing him as more of a DB as opposed to a true traditional linebacker, I really think can benefit him greatly and be a huge chess piece for your defense. Getting him out there consistently, letting him be just a menace in coverage, getting him downhill against the run in more advantageous spots. And honestly, he can blitz really well too. He has good bend. He has a really nasty spin move he can tap into. He can do a lot for you defensively. You weaponize that speed, you weaponize his athleticism, and turn him into a heat-seeking missile downhill, again, in advantageous situations. Cannot stress that enough. He does kind of need that cushioning. But if he can get that cushioning, then he's going to get downhill, he's going to make plays, and in coverage, he is going to be a tremendous player. Like, he is going to take away tight ends and running backs and slot receivers, and maybe even outside receivers if, he's feeling nice a specific day. So I like this pick a lot. I think this is a perfect fit for the Dolphins, with Brooks and Rodriguez as your 1 and 2 on the interior, like as your true linebackers, and then Lewis being that extra, like, again, dime back, nickel back, weak side linebacker, whatever you want to call him. Having him there as that third guy, I really think can make this defense super dangerous. So I love this pick. I think it pairs super, super well with the Rodriguez pick, and I'm really happy he ended up where he did because I do think the Dolphins can maximize his skill set. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills, and for Buffalo, I had to go with Jalen Kilgore, the defensive back out of South Carolina, and I really liked this pick for them for a couple reasons. Number one, the value I thought was great. I had a mid-round 2 grade on Kilgore. You get him here towards the end of the 5th round. That's a steal in my opinion. But also, I really, really like his upside. We're talking about a 21-year-old safety who ran a 4.4, is 6'1", 220 pounds. Like, he's got the size to be a true safety or like a big nickel. And again, we talked about it with Kyle Lewis. These guys are more and more valuable throughout the league as time goes on. We just saw Seattle win big time, and one of the biggest pieces in their secondary was Nick Emenwari, who came in right away as a big nickel, was a traitsy guy that didn't have a ton of polish right away, and turned into, again, one of the most important pieces in their defense. I think Kilgore could potentially be that same type of player. Now, he's not going to the same coaching staff that Emenwari went to, obviously, so I don't think it'll be as quick of a learning curve, but I do think within a year or two, he could easily turn into, a very, very good big nickel for Buffalo, because again, we're talking about a guy who has the frame, has the length, has the speed, has the play strength. He's a high motor guy who consistently chases the ball. He can match up in coverage with tight ends and man-to-man. He can reroute receivers with his physicality. He weaponizes his frame and length to create disruption at the catch point. He has fantastic ball skills, does a great job getting his head around in coverage. He's willing and capable downhill against the run with a very physical demeanor. There are flashes of him like bringing the boom, laying dudes out when running the alley. He shows really good stopping power in the run game. He can slip blocks in tight spaces. He's a very effective blitzer downhill. Like, he gives you a lot of what you want at this position. All that being said, though, I will admit he is a tick behind in coverage. His zone IQ, his route recognition, his overall ability to anticipate receivers, his footwork, those things need to continue to develop. And he is going to a secondary with a couple really good veteran coverage players. You look at Christian Benford, you look at D. Alford, CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think overall will be a good mentor for him. He is going to a spot that has some guys that can help him work on those things, but those are things that need to be fixed. Against the run, I would like to see him use his hands a little bit more to shed blocks. He's somebody that would rather slip a block than truly stack and shed, which is fine, but he does need to be able to stack and shed when slipping isn't an option, and that's just not something he really does consistently right now. He also struggles to tackle when chasing from behind. That is something that can also be improved with some coaching. So a lot of his issues are very coachable. You can't teach the speed, you can't teach the size, you can't teach the physicality, but you can teach the awareness and the vision and some of the mechanical stuff, the footwork, things like that. All of his problems are very fixable. This is a great player to land on day 3. Again, I thought teams should be looking at him on day 2, but landing him on day 3 as a developmental piece is super, super intriguing, super, super exciting. And like I said, I really do think CJ Gardner-Johnson, who has done a lot of the things that I think Kilgore can do, having him as a mentor for Kilgore is fantastic. That is a great spot for him to walk into. And honestly, depending on how that development goes, how that mentorship goes, I could see Kilgore stepping in by the end of the year as a starter in this defense, because you look at D. Alford, who is their current nickel corner. He's a good cover player, can't defend the run to save his life. He is probably the worst run defending nickel in the sport. And if Buffalo gets to a point where they're like, we're sick of D not getting off his blocks, we're sick of him not doing anything downhill against the run, because we know Buffalo's run defense has been a really big issue for them over the past few years, I could absolutely see them kind of phasing Kilgore into their defense for that point. So I really like this pick for Buffalo. I think he can turn into their nickel long-term, maybe even be like a true strong safety for them, so to speak. I like what he brings to the table. I like his traits, and I think he landed in a very, very good spot to potentially reach his ceiling. Next up, we have the New York Jets, and for the Jets, I had to go with VJ Payne, the safety out of Kansas State. And first of all, I really cannot believe he fell this far. I had a late day 2 grade on Payne. You get him here in the 7th round. That blows my mind, and I know that's not always the most confidence-inspiring thing to hear, but hear me out, right? Because this guy is 6'3", 206 pounds, has damn near 34-inch arms, ran a 4.4, he's only 22 years old, and it's not like he's super raw. He is a good coverage player. He's somebody that has good play recognition, can close ground quickly, mirrors wide receivers and man-to-man with a really good back pedal. He plays aggressive at the catch point with precise timing and arrives like at the perfect moment. He's somebody that can keep in stride with anybody because of that 4.4 speed, and just like gives you a lot in coverage. He's also a super active communicator both before the snap and after the snap. Like, he does a great job of making sure everybody's where they need to be, pointing things out, getting guys in position. Like, he's a really, really good coverage player. Now, that being said, he's obviously not perfect. He does have his issues against the run when it comes to his ability to shed blocks and his play recognition and how much he like trusts what he sees in front of him, his tackling mechanics. Like, there are a lot of coaching points against the run. But when you have a guy who is this good in coverage and is this athletic at this size, I'm really surprised no one wanted to take a shot on him before the 7th round. Like, he can plug and play right away as a coverage player in your secondary, and the rest can get figured out later. There's a lot of DBs in this league who are bad against the run. Like, a lot. And the fact that no team was willing to take a chance on Payne when those guys are all, like, starters is crazy to me. And honestly, because of that, like, with how good he is in coverage, I could see a world where Payne makes the transition to pure corner. You know, at 6'3", with that length, with that speed, he could be a really good, like, press man cover corner. And, you know, the Jets would be a great spot for that. Very much a Nashawn Wright type of player who they brought in free agency, having him as the opposite to him, or, you know, as the maybe backup to him right away, and then the replacement because Wright is on a 1-year deal. I could absolutely see that being the case. I think there's a world where he could do that. He could also put on a little bit of weight, get stronger, and be a little bit more physical, and become like a true safety. That could also be in the cards as well. I think it just kind of depends on what you need in your secondary. But again, a guy that is this fast, has this build, and is already a really good cover player, I can't imagine letting him fall this far. I think the Jets got one of the steals of the draft here, and I'm really excited to see what this is going to turn into. Like, if you don't want to go the corner route, you want to keep him as his true safety position, which is totally valid. He could, like, take Andre Sisco's job. Cisco is on the last year of his deal. You know, you don't know if you're going to want to extend him long-term. I think Payne could absolutely step into that role and become the guy opposite Minkah. And again, all he needs to do is get a little bit better against the run, which is very coachable. You can tell in a lot of situations against the run, like, he can see what's going on. He just doesn't often trust his eyes. There's that little bit of hesitation. If you can just get him to go, I think he could be a lot more disruptive against the run. And if he is disruptive, that's a great step in the right direction, right? And if you don't want to play him at outside corner, you don't want to play him as a safety, I am once again, for the 3rd time in this video, going to pitch him potentially being a big nickel. Like, he has the size, the speed, the coverage ability. He just needs to get better against the run. If you have him put on, 5 to 10 pounds, get a little stronger, learn how to shed blocks consistently, he could be a good big nickel for you. So there's a lot of different hats that he could wear in the secondary potentially with his skill set. And again, I will say, for probably the 5th time here, I cannot believe a guy like this fell to the 7th round. But either way, I'm sure the Jets are very happy that's the case, because he's in their secondary now. They get to do whatever they want with him, and I think he is going to turn into a piece for them long term. We're going to wrap up the AFC East here with the New England Patriots, and I loved the Gabe Jacas pick, getting the edge out of Illinois here towards the end of the 2nd round, to the point where it honestly kind of pissed me off on draft night. And I promise it's not because I have some vendetta against the Patriots. That's not even close to the case. It's just the fact that I'm a Bears fan and I was in love with Jacas. He was my personal favorite edge in this class. I didn't think he was the best, but he was definitely my favorite. And he was one of my biggest targets for the Bears. I thought that would have been a home run pick for them. And the Patriots ended up swooping in, taking him way past where I thought he should have gone. And it pissed me off in the moment because I was like, God, I wanted him to be a Bear so bad. But like, after sitting, thinking about it, I'm very happy New England is where he ended up. We're talking about a guy who is only 21 years old, is 6'4", 260 pounds, has 33-inch arms. He has the play strength, he has the athleticism, he has the motor, the aggression. He has a lot of the traits that you want in a pass rusher and an edge rusher in this league. He's also somebody who has a lot as a pass rusher. I love his hand usage. I love how he utilizes his quickness and his explosive first step, to beat blockers across their face, or just use that speed when his initial rush stalls out. Is a very deep bag of moves with a swim move, an inside spin, a couple chops, a couple rips, a couple swipes. Like, he does a good job using his hands, like I said. He converts speed into power well for a very dominant bull rush. He can collapse the pocket. He can run through a tackle. And then as a run defender, I do think he needs to improve, but his gap discipline was much better his final year as opposed to previously. He takes on blockers with violence. He can blow up pulling linemen, and he sets a very good edge. He was also pretty productive. That's another thing I should throw out. I know I don't normally talk about production, but like, it is important. I know that matters to some people. And he had 27 sacks, 35.5 TFLs, 7 forced fumbles. Like, he was a productive player at Illinois. That being said, though, as a pass rusher, I do think there are some things that stand out as negatives. He's not the bendiest guy in the world. His pass rushing plan requires some refinement. The second is something that is absolutely coachable. And again, he's only 21 years old. He has a lot of upside. He's not somebody that you're expecting to plug in right now, be a dominant starter. You're taking him in the second round and saying, okay, we like the traits, we like the baseline, we think he can get better. We'll plug him in as our 3 for now in our edge rotation with Harold Landry and Draymond Jones, and hope he can grow and eventually become like someone better, right? So there is growth potential there, which is very, very good. And then against the run, he needs to do a better job of getting off blocks. His tackling mechanics are poor, and I would like to see him use his length to his advantage a little bit more in the run game. He is somebody that could very easily create more extension and play that to his advantage, but he just doesn't for whatever reason. He likes to lean into blockers as a run defender, and that is something, again, is very, very coachable. You can also get fooled by misdirection a little bit, which, again, coachable. So the long and short of it is I really like Gabe. I think he can be a tremendous 3-down pass rusher for you in this league. He just needs some coaching on some of the run defense stuff, on the pass rushing plan. And again, going to the Patriots with Vrabel, with Harold Landry, with Draymond Jones, he's got some veterans ahead of him who can be good mentors for him. I'm really excited to see how he's going to end up. I think he can truly transform into like a 10 sack a year type of guy. The fact that he was, let's count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The fact that he was the 11th edge off the board in this class blows my mind. He was my edge 5. 3 of the guys that I had ahead of him went in the first round, and then the other guy I had ahead of him was the 10th edge off the board in Zion Young. And Young, I understand why he slid a little bit. You've got the off-field concerns with the DWI, but with the rest of these edge rushers, the fact that Malachi Lawrence was a first-round pick over Gabe, the fact that Keldrick Falk was a first-round pick over Gabe, that kind of stuff blows my mind. I think that is absolutely crazy. So the Patriots, considering the fact that he was the 11th edge off the board, I think this is a steal. Maybe not the value, because I had him at 37. He goes here at, what, 55, sorry. Can't do math, apparently. The fact that that's the case is, again, I think he is a steal. I think this is a great pick for the Patriots, and he's someone that I'm going to be watching with great interest. I really do think he can blossom into something exciting. So I, again, cannot say it enough. Love this pick for the Patriots, and it was probably my favorite pick that any of the AFC East teams made this year. But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out the channel a ton. It shows your support, it shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. Also, make sure to let me know down in the comments below what your favorite pick was from each of the teams mentioned in this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Anything like that, I would love to hear your input down below. And definitely make sure to subscribe for more NFL content coming your way throughout the rest of the offseason. This series is probably going to be the last thing I do about the draft. I might do some assorted film breakdowns here and there. We'll have to see. But either way, there's going to be more football content throughout the summer, into the regular season and beyond, that you definitely won't want to miss. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of it. And above all else, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it, because you're all wonderful people and you truly do deserve it. And also, happy Pride Month.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow. Using that